of this week, dear Father, that have passed. And dear Father, we pray for their families. We lift them up unto you this night, dear God, that you bring comfort and peace to their hearts. Bless and continue each citizen across this county, dear Father, that we lift them up unto you for their needs of what it might be, dear Lord, you know. And Lord, we pray for our troops that you bring comfort and peace to them and build a hedge of safety around them, dear God, as they defend this great country. Pray for provision for their families. Lord, we look toward you for strength, for direction, and for the guidance that we need this hour. For all these favors and blessings we ask in the name of Jesus. For you are truly the author and the finisher of our faith. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good to see everyone here tonight. Commissioners, we're on YouTube now, so make sure that, and of course Channel 6, but make sure that when you talk tonight that you use your microphone, because they're having a problem picking you up on picking up your voice. Push the button when you talk. All right, let's do the roll call. All right, let's have the count. Okay, before we approve the agenda, there's going to be some changes. On number 11 under new business, we're going to pull B and C, those two resolutions. And that's by the request of Mr. West and Ms. Fan. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Let's vote, please. All right. Let's have the count.
20.
All right. Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? If so, I'll take a... All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion? If not, let's vote, please. All right. Let's have a count. Ken, if I go too fast for you, okay, you just tell me, because I know you got to type it in. Okay, are you ready for number 7? We ready? Ms. Patton?
Resolution 2012-08. Resolution in honor and recognition of James C. Sherrill, deceased, for his devotion and dedication to the citizens of Coffee County, Tennessee. Whereas James C. Sherrill earned the admiration and respect of the legislative body of Coffee County and every citizen by serving as road sergeant, sergeant of the courts for the Coffee County Sheriff's Department for 28 years. Whereas his 10-year service was characterized by dedication, fairness, and outstanding service to the people of Coffee County, be it resolved, therefore, that the Coffee County Board of Commissioners hereby commends Mr. James C. Sherrill for his outstanding service to Coffee County, Tennessee. Be it therefore resolved that the family of Mr. James C. Sherrill receive a copy of this resolution and that a copy be maintained on file as permanent record. Passed and so ordered this 8th day of May, 2012.
Move it be approved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Let's vote, please. All right, let's have the count. 20 yes. I tell you what, Ken, this machine really is fast tonight. It's doing good. Probably shouldn't have bragged on it, but Ms. Patton.
Resolution 2012-09. Resolution in honor and recognition of Lee M. Rose, deceased, for his devotion and dedication to the citizens of Coffee County, Tennessee. Whereas Lee M. Rose earned the admiration and respect of the legislative body of Coffee County and every citizen by serving as a corrections officer for the Coffee County Sheriff's Department for 7 years. Whereas his tenure of service was characterized by dedication, fairness, and outstanding service to the people of Coffee County. Be it resolved, therefore, that the Coffee County Board of Commissioners hereby commends Mr. Lee M. Rose for his outstanding service to Coffee County, Tennessee. Be it further resolved that the family of Mr. Lee M. Rose receive a copy of this resolution and that a copy be maintained on file as a permanent record. Passed and so ordered this 8th day of May, 2012.
Move it be approved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. All right. Do we have any discussion? If not, let's vote, please. Commissioner Thomas and Commissioner Alford. All right, let's have the count.
20 yes.
20 yes, okay. Ms. Patton?
We don't have any other.
Okay.
Like to see Mark back. Mark Kelly.
All right, let's go to number 8, election, appointments, and confirmations.
Notaries: Cindy Clower, Rita Henderson, Ann M. Henson, Melinda Keeling, Clifton N. Miller, Teresa H. Shelton, Charlotte F. Stacy, and Brenda D. Tomberlin.
I'll entertain a motion here to accept them.
So moved.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, let's vote, please. All right, let's have the count.
Yes.
All right. You ready, Ken? Okay.
Okay. B is the Railroad Authority appointment, and that's the mayor's appointment, and he has replaced Roger Dodson with Tom Rice for the Railroad Authority.
Move it be approved.
All right, do we have a second? Do we have any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, you might comment about who Mr. Rice is, and that might be...
Mr. Rice owns CFC, and that is a recycling company that's on the right just before you get to the old Arnold Drive-In and going toward Tullahoma. And he utilizes this railroad, so I figure he'd be a good one to work with the community and the railroad.
I understand he's a good businessman and a fine gentleman, so
Yes.
we appreciate him serving.
Yes, that's right. Years ago, he started out with just a container for Coke cans, so he's absolutely a good businessman. That business has really grew. Any other discussion? Let's vote, please. All right, let's have the count.
20 yes.
20 yes, okay. Ms. Patton,
C, Equalization Board.
do you have the name?
The Equalization Board has requested that the same members be uh, put back on their board. They are Wendell Hanson, Lloyd W. Jackson Jr., Ronnie Crownover, David Lowe, and Grady Freeze.
Move it be approved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, do we have a second? Thank you. Any discussion? Let's vote, please. All right, we got the count. Yeah, thank you. Okay, item 9, county officials, standing and special committee. First one looks like jail review committee report. Commissioner Byrd?
We have a couple of resolutions in the new business that will be discussed and voted upon. Let's see, the short report is the land has been closed on last week. We just had an issue come before us earlier today about, I don't want to go into it because I've not had a chance to look at it, nor has anyone on the committee. We haven't talked about it, but there's a little bit of an issue with further environmental studies because of the place where we may be borrowing the money, but we'll have to deal with that if we vote affirmatively tonight to move forward, and we'll address that in more detail in the next full commission meeting. We have a 95% plus design. It's a big roll of drawings right back there. That's where we are. I don't have much more of a report than that.
Does any of the commissioners have any questions for Commissioner Byrd? If not, I'll entertain a motion to
Mr. Chairman,
accept
could I
this committee
just
report.
ask a minute?
Yes.
I believe in budget and finance, we talked about the rural development loans as
Right.
the most, we felt, maybe feasible way to finance the jail and deal with it, and we studied in detail a lot of the aspects of the rural development loans. And in regard to what Commissioner Byrd just mentioned, the environmental studies, if I recall, that it's not like additional environmental studies and things beyond what we've done. I believe there's like maybe a 30-day period where they have to have a report submitted to them because it's part of their process for the rural development loan. So I just wanted to maybe mention that so that, and if I'm incorrect, Mr. Byrd, you can correct me, but it's not like additional, I believe, studies or environmental studies. It's just a procedural thing with the rural development loan.
As is very common, and I mean this is a compliment, you're much more well-spoken than I am. I think I did kind of misspeak when I said additional. I really honestly don't know what all's involved because I've just seen the email tonight.
Right.
But I think you're correct in that it's more procedural issues. What it'll really come down to, it looks like at first glance, is we'll delay 30 days with their procedural issues, but it's going to let us have access to less expensive money, which will be the right answer for the county because it'll save us. But at the next jail review committee, we'll be discussing this in great detail to make sure that's all that's involved. I think you're right.
Any other comments or questions?
I pushed my little button, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Am I recognized?
Commissioner, I'm not really, I usually just look out for the crowd, but I do every once in a while notice that yellow.
I was just trying to follow your process.
Yeah, well, I know, sir. And you're good about that.
I have I guess a quick question for either the chairman of Budget and Finance or Mr. Byrd as far as the tax impact from the $22 million and how what we've looked at as far as the payback for that.
I guess I'm trying to get right now, but why don't we get down to the resolutions, because I think those would probably be the appropriate time for those discussions. So rather than repeating them again, maybe, but your call.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept this report.
So moved.
And we got a second. Thank you. Any more discussion? Let's vote, please. Okay. We're still on this vote. All right, let's have a count.
20 yes.
20 yes, okay. Item 10 under unfinished business, we don't have any, so item 11, new business.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Arthur.
as chairman of the purchasing commission, I'd like to kind of share with our meeting last night as
Oh,
far as
okay.
the revision for, or the revised, basically the commission took a look at our purchasing policies, and there'll be a forthcoming in the next meeting as far as that. But I want to let everyone be aware, and hopefully that you can get with Roxanne and get. There was really no changes, but we felt necessary that this needs to be a standard practice for the county to do the business and look at our purchasing policies and have those revised each year. So we do want to present that at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Patton?
Number 11, new business.
Yes.
A, water line extension on Shipley Road. Cost of materials will be $11,439.89.
Commissioner Duffy?
This water line extension is part of Manchester's system, and the funding for this will come out of our second half penny money, the infrastructure fund. And if I recall properly, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it's 3,000 foot of 6-inch line.
I think you're right. Mhm.
But anyway, it's an improvement over the system, and it brings water and fire protection to people who haven't previously had it.
And has this been run through budget and finance?
It has.
Okay,
And I make this as a motion to approve it.
thank you.
Second
We
motion.
have a second. Any discussion? If not, let's vote, please. All right, let's have a count.
20 yes.
Okay, Ms. Patton?
On to B,
Okay.
budget amendments.
I think that's Miss Mariana, isn't it?
Yeah, I have 5 budget amendments to read tonight.
Are we going to read them all and then just vote once?
Is that what you'd like?
If that's okay with the commission? Okay.
First one, 101, 2012-5. A decrease in Chancery Court deputies, $1,715. Increase excess fee, Circuit Court, $50,594. Increase excess fee, Chancery Court, $3,109. Increase Homeland Security Grant, $116,100. Increase IECGP Communications Grant, $9,200. Reserve for County Clerk, $5,107. Reserve for Circuit Court Clerk, $4,440. Increase 911 impact fees, $48,000. Increase in expenditures, Circuit Court, deputies, $49,156. Overtime pay, $3,500. Social Security, $1,704. State retirement, $4,234. Increase Chancery Court personnel, $4,824. Increase Communications Grant, $9,200. This is for EMA. Increase EMA Department Hazardous Waste, Hazardous Materials Grant, $100. Homeland Security Grant, $116,000. Increase County Clerk's Office from Data Processing Reserves, $5,107. Circuit Court Clerk Data Processing Reserve increase, $4,440. Other Public Safety Overtime Pay, this is 911, $12,000. Increase in other boards and committee, boards and committee member fees, $9,000. Social Security, $689. Increase county commission mileage, $3,500. Increase codes compliance, $5,819. Social Security, $445. State retirement, $200. Medical insurance, $571. Dental insurance, $275. Increase county coroner medical services, $12,000. Increase to unassigned fund balance, $3,501. It was approved by Budget and Finance on April 4th.
Okay.
Is this $3,500 mileage for county commissioners, is that extra?
Yes, it's
Why?
because of the jail conditions we have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is my question. Next one is 101-2012-06. Increase property assessor reserves, $22,000. Increase Bonnaroo drug control fines, $6,760. Increase property assessor motor vehicle purchase from reserves, $22,000. Increase in drug court treatment from Bonnaroo drug control fines, $6,760. The next one is the drug fund, number 122-2012-07. Decrease in undesignated fund balance of $148,975. Increase in drug control fines, Sessions Court, $82,000. Increase in drug enforcement remittance of revenues collected, $21,975. Decrease in drug control fines, Circuit Court, $103,000. Decrease in proceeds from confiscated property, $86,000. Decrease contributions in gifts, $20,000. The next one, this is the transfer from the Rural Capital Projects Fund. This was included in the Highway Department 2012 budget, the current budget. Decrease undesignated fund balance of $80,000. Transfer to the Highway Department for the matching for the bridge fund. Budget Amendment 101-2012-09. Tax credit bond subsidy, $73,380.73. Transfer out to the Education Debt Service Fund, $73,380.73. That's all of them.
And all of them has been through budget and finance?
Yes,
Okay.
they have all been approved.
Yeah, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept them.
So move.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second, thank you. Any discussion? Oh, Commissioner Chance.
Just a quick question on the 122-201207. Just to get some clarification on the one line item, 44570, contributions and gifts. What is that exactly? Just
Read that number again, Commissioner.
it is the budget amendment 122-2012-07. I believe it's the third one from the end, and it's the line item $20,000 for contributions and gifts.
Those are usually designated through the court system, I believe. Sheriff might be able to know. It's usually where they come through. Fines in court, usually they'll have,
But I can't hear. I don't know if that's my old age creeping in or.
Contributions and gifts from the, don't they usually come from fines from court?
I think what that line item's referring to is people that go to court on drug charges sometimes has to do drug contributions to the drug fund, so.
And let me clarify a little, if I may. There's certain things, you know, the fine may be a certain amount, and the court might not have authority to do a fine for a certain amount, but the defendant may work out an agreement with the prosecutor that if they'll pay a fine and cost, do such, and make a contribution to the drug fund, and that has to be done by voluntary action of the defendant, and then it'd be called a contribution, because it wouldn't be, and the court would be specific not to order it, it's just part of the settlement, and if they comply with the settlement, then they get the benefit of it. So it's a means of settlement that brings in some additional money for law enforcement.
Would that not then be under sources of funding rather than uses? And I'm not an accountant, so I just...
Well, that part I can answer.
It's considered a contribution.
So I guess I'm clear, it's just when a fine can't be given, then someone is given the option to contribute to this fund. What if they don't contribute?
Do what?
What if they don't want to contribute?
Then they fulfill the deal.
It's not an option.
At that point, it ceases to be an option. The judge couldn't order it based on the trial, but if there's a settlement that includes that, he'll approve it.
Any other questions?
Could the budget director give us the balance so that it could be put into the media verbally so everyone can hear that, please? The ending fund balance, undesignated fund balance.
The drug fund,
Total.
Our fund?
Yeah, air fund. What would be the ending after all the budget amendments?
Yes.
general fund. $739,316.
And, Mr. Chairman, the reason I wanted to say that, so that the media and everybody could capture that on audio, and that way the citizens at home would know that they can't see this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other discussion? Let's vote, please. Commissioner Alford? Are you voting? Thank you. All right, let's have the count, please.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Are you ready, Keith? Okay.
E is amended debt management policy.
On page 4, the third bullet line down that's highlighted, this was amended at the advisement of our financial advisor. It wasn't there before that we could only do straight line debt. This would let us also do structured debt as well as straight line.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Let's vote, please. All right, let's have the count. Okay.
Resolution 2012-12, resolution to build a new Coffee County Jail.
Do you want to say anything? We'll entertain a motion here to build a new Crawford County jail.
I'm so moved.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Now, let's get into the discussion.
Okay. I'd like to say one thing right up front, that on the first page of this, there's a blank where it says, for the specifications and drawings of centric architecture dated, it's filled in April 27th, 2012. That's the most recent set of official drawings that they have. So for your information, that's what's been filled in.
Any more discussion? Yes, ma'am?
Yes, I would like to say that I don't know who sent the Channel Nashville News Station down here to see about our jail, but I thought Steve Grace did an excellent job on demonstrating why our county needed a new jail.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Let's vote, please. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead, Commissioner Britt.
Yeah, I would like that. First of all, once we vote on this, and Virgil, certainly the financing part probably should be flushed out in the next resolution. But I guess I'm going to make a little bit of a statement here. Probably be inappropriate if I did. Last summer, this commission by a 12-9 vote made a decision to build a new jail away from its current jail site. Again, I was disappointed with that decision. I still think in the best interest of this county and the citizens, a new jail could have been built on the existing site, and I probably will always believe that. But I joined the jail committee, and I want to commend Commissioner Byrd, all the commissioners and citizens that have worked on the jail committee for the last 6+ months. I tried to be as active as I could with that committee, and I watched it. I think all the decisions of that committee were solid, best interest of the county, to build a jail that's certainly not lavish, bare minimum, functional, still too very expensive, but no choice. So we're here tonight. I might be the lone vote against this, and I'm sure it will pass. But my vote goes back to my vote from last summer, that I still don't think the jail needs to be where it is. Nothing to do with the decision and how the current jail to be built. I just can't get comfortable where it's going to be built.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Kelly? By the way, good to have you back.
Well, thank you, sir. Good to be back. Russ, you probably won't be the only no vote, because I've asked for in the past to get copies of the drawings, and having been laid up in the hospital and in recovery for several weeks and not having access to information from the jail committee, without having to come up here to get it, and never having that responded to at my request, and what I thought was an agreement that we were going to get copies of that information. I simply can't vote for something I haven't seen and been given the information to provide, and spend $22 million of the county money when I have no information on it.
Okay. Commissioner?
I just want to echo what Rush was saying a moment ago. My vote against this tonight has absolutely nothing to do with the work of the committee. I think they've done an excellent job, given the tools and the resources that they do have. And I think the sheriff's done an excellent job as well. My vote against it tonight is going to be because I don't believe that it's in the best location possible for the community, but it has not at all anything to do with the efforts or the work or the intent of the committee. I think they've done a fantastic job. But like I said, I want to echo a lot of what Rush said as well. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Let's vote, please. All right, let's have the count.
15 yes, 5 no.
All right. 15 yes, 5 no. All
Okay.
right.
G, Resolution 2012-13. Initial resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $22,500,000 obligation bonds of Coffee County, Tennessee.
I'll entertain a motion to accept it.
Move to accept.
Second. All right, thank you. All right, discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go back to Budget and Finance Director, Chairman, and also Mr. Burt, kind of elaborate a little bit on the extended cost and impact tax-wise and those types of things, sir.
All right, let me try to summarize this, and certainly Mariana, certainly feel free to jump in. But the best proposal we currently have to finance is $22.5 million. Is through the Rural Development Fund. And the current rates that they have in place is 3.37%, 3 3/8, which is an extremely low rate. If we went to the general public bond market, that rate would probably be around 4 to 4 1/4. So, I mean, that almost is not quite a full percent, but the math on nearly a full percent on $22 million over 30 to 40 years is a saving somewhere between $2 and $2.5 million present value dollars. So we have the opportunity certainly to lock in some extremely low financing. And of course, we've all been around to this 10 years ago or less. This financing cost would easily have been double because interest rates would have been easily in the 6% range, and we might have thought those were cheap. So, you know, we can somewhat count our blessings for the environment that we're in. Now, that being said, still financing $22.5 million, the current estimates will be about $1,060,000 a year in debt service. At 94 cents per penny, that equates to about 11 cents. We have resolutions already in place of the, from, I guess it was last year, to set aside what we refer to as 11 cents money. That 7 cents of that will go to this, plus we'll have the funding from the litigation tax revenues, and that's in the neighborhood of how many thousands?
250,000.
Around 260,000. So if you take the 260 off the 1,060,000, that's 800,000, and again, that should be about that 7 cents number, I think. Is that right, Mary Ann?
Well, the litigation tax and the 7 cents is about $915,000 a year.
Okay, so we're still short somewhere around $150,000. So those dollars have been looked at. They're there. Now, I don't want to get this too complicated, but we're pulling those 7 cents out in next year's dollars, and to do that, it has left the general fund currently in the budget process about $1.3 million short that we'll have to be working on over the next 2 months to certainly narrow that gap down. But when we meet in June and July for next year's property taxes, unless that $1.3 million shortfall is shrunk considerably, we're facing property tax increases for next year. So we got our work cut out for us. So I don't want to surprise anyone that, you know, we've got the money in place because, or there's nothing, we don't have some serious budget issues around the corner.
Commissioner Bricken, how much did we start out the past year, though? We was behind the past year also on our budget process. What was it that we were behind the last time? It was one
About
point.
this time last year, you mean?
Yeah, when we was working on the budget, originally, wasn't it like 1.9 or something?
It was something in that neighborhood.
Yes.
So we've had success
Yes.
in working down budgets. So, but it'd be, so I'm guardedly optimistic we can get there. That means department heads coming around. That means scraping up revenues. And again, this is just the general fund. Of course, and I don't want to bring the school into it, but we've not heard the school yet. So that's a big issue to be prepared for. But anyway, those are and again, this is funding. And of course, it's going to take 2 years to build. And this money will not be expended all at once. So the funding to get it up and built should be there. Of course, 2 to 3 years from there, when we got operating costs of a new jail, we'll have other issues. So I'm just trying to lay out what I can.
Yeah, and just for the record, the 7 cents does not put us the whole 1.3 million. The 7 cents roughly generates about 700 and so thousand. So the 7 cents didn't cost the whole 1.3.
Absolutely
Just
not.
for the record.
Mr. Mayor, may I inject that
You sure can.
resolution that we had for the level debt service is required by the Rural Development Fund. And the decision was to take advantage of those lower rates, but at the same time have the school bonding go through the public domain. So we do have two different funding mechanisms that are going on at the same time.
Does one override or interact with the other in any kind of an adverse function?
You mean between the school and the jail? Well, the school funds, certainly those monies are sales tax driven revenues too. So, no, they do not have any direct effect. I mean, obviously from a county's general debt obligations outstanding, bond rating companies and other companies will sit there and with the new school and the jail say, well, we're adding $40-something million of debt to the county's combined tax roll. That has a kind of a global underwriting picture, but that's the only impact. I want to add to a little bit of what Robin said. This proposal to use rural funding is a level debt service. So, and we have other general county bonds that are maturing over the next 10 years. And as they drop off, those pennies that were funding that debt service can, one, go to reduce general fund costs, go as a property tax reduction to our citizens, which would be wonderful. So if we don't find other needs for those capital pennies, which I'm not saying we won't, but if we don't, we have some savings coming down the pike to the citizens in about 7 or 8 years.
Okay. Commissioner Fan, then Commissioner Hines. Did you? Oh, you done? Okay.
Well, it was just my understanding that 4 cents is going to that litigation thing with Tullahoma, and when it's paid off in, 2 or 3 years, then
Yeah.
that 4 cents could go toward...
You're exactly right, Ms. Fan. Any other discussion? Let's vote, please. Let's have the count, please.
17 years, 3
Okay. Okay. Ms. Patton, do you have anything under other? Okay. The next thing on our agenda is number 12, statements and announcements. And Mariana told me that I have an announcement here. We have applied for a USAID loan, USDA rural development loan. I'll get it right there. And we had to run it in the paper, so, it was in the paper when, Mariana? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it was last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday, okay. But anyway, I'm to ask if anyone has any questions about the rural development loan. Anybody? It is the Panache Jail. Yeah, it's USDA. Okay. All right, does any other commissioner have an announcement or statements?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a statement, please.
Okay. All right.
At the last meeting, there was a little discussion about the inmates of Coffee County Jail washing the mayor's cars, and I said that that had happened in Tullahoma. I spoke with Mayor Curley. This is what we spoke on the phone, and then I sent him an email, and I said, thank you for speaking with me. Please know that I did not intend any malice in my statement, and also note that your name nor any Tullahoma official was mentioned. My error was that I did not specify that I was speaking generally. And as we discussed, sometimes critical words are left out and the statement made then can come into question. I have the utmost respect for you and your administration, and I feel that you are men of honesty and moral integrity. And I also said I don't take my official duties lightly and would not make any callous or untrue statements. We spoke on the phone, and he said he understood, and he was not angry, nor did he make any kind of any other statement than he just understood, and everything was okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioner got an announcement or statement? Okay. Does anybody in the audience want to make a short statement? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a
Motion to adjourn?
Well, all in favor, stand up.